Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're setting off on, well, a really fragrant journey, actually, into an industry that's, not just ticking along, it's really booming across the globe.
Absolutely.
We are talking about the global market for lavender essential oil extract.
And for this deep dive, we're drawing heavily on some pretty detailed insights and projections from cognitive market research. They've laid out some fascinating figures for us.
They really have. So let's jump right into that big global picture they paint. Back in 2021, this market was valued at roughly, what, $73 million?
$73.186 million, to be precise, yes.
Okay. But here's where it gets really interesting. By 2025, just next year, that's projected to climb past $120 million.
Quite a jump.
And then looking further out, say to 2033, we're looking at a potential, $327 million market.
Yeah, over $327 million. That sustained growth translates to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of about 13.3%, which is, pretty remarkable.
13.3% year after year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, growth like that consistent double-digit rise, it doesn't just happen by accident. So our mission here really is to try and understand what's driving this expansion.
Right.
And figure out where the most interesting stuff is happening, which regions are really blossoming according to this research.
Okay, sounds good. Let's maybe start unpacking this in North America. It seems like a pretty significant player in this aromatic landscape. What do the numbers tell us there?
They do. North America, back in 2021, had market sales around $26.4 million.
Okay.
That's projected to grow to roughly $42.7 million by 2025.
42.7.
And then by 2033, it's expected to hit a substantial $114.2 million. The CAGR there is strong, too, around 13.1%.
So strong numbers across the board in North America. But can we dig a bit deeper? I mean, who's really driving that? And are there any sort of surprises in the growth rates between countries?
Good question. The U.S. is definitely the heavyweight in terms of market size. Sales there went from about $21.2 million in 2021.
Right.
Projected to hit $88.4 million by 2033. Canada's solid, too, going from around $4 million to nearly $19.5 million in that same time frame. But what's really quite interesting, maybe a bit surprising, is Mexico.
Mexico. How so?
Well, it's a smaller market overall, right? Started at just over $1.1 million in 2021.
Okay.
But it's forecast to reach over $6.2 million by 2033. And the key thing is its growth rate. It boasts the highest regional CAGR, 16.5%.
16.5%. Wow, that is significantly higher than the others. Does the research give any clues why Mexico's expanding so quickly? Is it just, more people wanting it or something else?
Yeah, that's a great point. The research suggests it's mainly down to a growing middle class, more disposable income, basically.
Right, makes sense.
Plus, there's this increasing awareness and sort of adoption of natural health and beauty stuff. And, e-commerce is making it easier for people to buy these oils, too.
Fascinating. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe obviously has this long, deep history with lavender.
Oh, definitely. Provence and all that.
Exactly. So how is its market looking now, considering that legacy?
Well, Europe's market was about $21.8 million back in 2021.
Okay.
Grew to $35.5 million by 2025, and the forecast puts it at around $94.6 million by 2033. The AGR is pretty similar to North America, actually about 13.0%.
13%. And who's leading in Europe? Is it still the traditional places like France?
Interestingly, the UK actually leads in market size. Their sales are set to go from about $4.8 million to nearly $23 million by 2033.
Wow, the UK.
Yeah. Germany and France are significant too, of course, both showing, very consistent growth. Italy, Spain, others are all growing steadily as well.
So steady growth from the sort of established players, but you mentioned something about rest of Europe having interesting growth. What's the story there beyond those main countries? Is something else going on?
Yes, absolutely. While, the UK, Germany, France are strong, what really stands out is the collective growth in that rest of Europe category. This segment, it shows a really impressive CAGR of 15.4%. It's climbing from about $1.7 million in 2021 to projected over $8.4 million by 2033.
15.4%, so higher than the regional average.
Exactly. And the data suggests this is driven by, smaller niche markets expanding, maybe more local production popping up.
Yeah, interesting.
And just a general growing interest in wellness, tourism, and natural products even in those smaller economies. It really adds up across the continent.
That really does show how widespread this trend is becoming.
Okay, let's pivot now maybe eastward. Asia-Pacific, always seen as a dynamic region. How does it feature in the lavender oil market?
Asia Pacific, valued around $16.8 million in 2021,
16.8?
and it's projected to reach, quite impressively, $76 million by 2033. The CDR there is slightly higher again, 13.4%.
76 million. So what's the picture within Asia-Pacific? Who are the key players? Is there a sort of standout growth story there, like Mexico?
Well, China, as you might expect, leads in terms of sheer volume. It's projected to hit almost $24.5 million by 2033.
Right. Japan's also strong. It's expected to reach about $15.1 million. But yes, you're right. There is a standout growth story here. India.
India.
Yes, much like Mexico in its region. India's market is set for really rapid expansion. From about $2.1 million in 2021,
Okay.
it's projected to exceed $10.5 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 14.6%. Really
Right.
strong.
14.6% for India. That definitely catches the eye. What's fueling that acceleration there? It's such a huge, diverse market.
Cognitive market research points to a few things. Again, that burgeoning middle class is key.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a significant cultural shift towards natural and Ayurvedic wellness approaches.
Ah, yes.
Plus, the local beauty and personal care industries are just booming. And then there's growing awareness, especially among younger, tech-savvy people, about aromatherapy benefits, all driving adoption pretty quickly.
Very interesting dynamics. Okay, where next? South America.
Let's head there. South America shows, well, consistent growth, but maybe slightly more muted compared to some other regions we've discussed.
Mm.
The total market there was around $2.9 million in 2021. It's expected to reach nearly $11.8 million by 2033.
11.8 million.
Yeah, and the CAGR is about 12.0%, which is actually the lowest regional CAGR we've looked at so far.
Right, 12%. So a bit slower, but still steady growth. Which countries are leading the way in South America, and what sort of defines that pattern?
Brazil is a clear leader in the region. It's set to grow from about $1.3 million in 2021 to roughly $5.2 million by 2033.
Okay.
Argentina also shows, solid growth, just a bit more modest. The data seems to suggest that while the market's definitely still developing in South America, the consistent growth reflects this steady kind of increasing awareness of essential oils, particularly in personal care and home use. It's just perhaps not penetrating quite as rapidly as elsewhere.
It really is fascinating seeing these different regional speeds, isn't it? It really highlights how these things spread differently around the world. Okay, let's shift now to the Middle East. What's a trajectory looking like there for lavender oil?
The Middle East market was valued at about $2.8 million back in 2021.
2.8.
Projected to hit $4.7 million in 2025, and then quite substantially $13.4 million by 2033. The CAGR here is notably strong again, 14.1%.
14.1%. So definitely above that global average we mentioned earlier. What's driving that strong curve in the Middle East, according to the research?
Well, the report suggests it's largely linked to, again, increased disposable income in many areas,
Okay.
and particularly strong demand from the luxury, beauty, and personal care sectors. There's also just a generally growing consumer preference across the region for natural and organic ingredients.
Right.
Countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey are leading the charge, volume-wise. But the UAE is also showing really rapid growth.
Interesting. Okay, that leaves one major region, Africa.
Ah, yes, Africa. And this is proving to be, well, really crucial and perhaps the most dynamic region of all for lavender oil growth right now.
Really? Dynamic how?
Well, it started from a smaller base, around $2.5 million in 2021. But it's projected to reach $5.2 million in 2025. And then a very impressive $17.4 million by 2033.
17.4 million. That's a huge leap from 2.5 million.
It is. And look at the CAGR, 16.4%. That is the highest overall regional CAGR we've seen in this entire deep dive.
16.4%. That's incredible. What on earth is driving that kind of surge across Africa? Why is it the fastest growing region globally for this?
Cognitive market research points to a combination of factors. First, there's just a rapid increase in consumer awareness about health and wellness benefits of essential oils.
Okay.
That's coupled with distribution networks expanding, making the products more available. There are also some new agricultural initiatives starting up in parts of Africa focusing on crops like lavender, which helps local supply.
Ah, local supply too. Interesting.
Yeah, and leading this charge are Nigeria and South Africa. Both are seeing explosive growth. Nigeria goes from just under $1 million in 2021 to over $7.1 million by 2033. South Africa, from around $79 million to over $6.3 million.
Hmm.
And even the rest of Africa category shows really strong momentum, indicating it's quite a broad continent-wide trend.
So Africa, unequivocally the fastest growing region for lavender essential oil extract. That is genuinely a powerful finding and probably quite surprising for many listeners. Really highlights the potential there, doesn't it?
It really does. The consumer markets there are clearly evolving very rapidly.
So stepping back and looking at everything we've discussed, it's crystal clear, isn't it? Lavender essential oil extract is way more than just some, niche wellness thing for a handful of people.
Oh, absolutely. If you connect all these regional dots, the data paints a picture of, well, a profound global growth story.
Yeah.
The different performances we've seen in North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, they all feed into this powerful overall trend. And it's driven by specific, sometimes quite different market dynamics in each place.
It really feels like a transformation from, what people might picture those quiet lavender farms in Provence to this dynamic, multi-million-dollar global industry that seems set to really kind of redefine natural wellness in the coming years.
Couldn't agree more. And just to reiterate, all these compelling numbers and insights, they come directly from that detailed analysis by cognitive market research.
Which really leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener. Thinking about this quiet blooming of the lavender oil market, what broader shifts might it reflect, in consumer behavior, maybe global economics?
Good question.
How could this, seemingly quite specific sector actually influence bigger trends, maybe in health, beauty, maybe even sustainable agriculture over the next decade?
Yeah, what are the ripple effects?
Exactly.
Is-
Something to perhaps mull over until our next deep dive.